Welcome to FoodKast. Today we have here with us Chris Moloney, over 20 years experience, head chef, everything possible in this world. Yeah, love fishing,
Yes.
fresh Irish products. Well, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ricardo.
What's your weapon of choice today?
A bottle of
Wrong side?
Alban. Is it Alban?
Yeah. Oh, Bordeaux. Oh, beautiful. Well, Chris, you brought today the Marquise d'Alban Bordeaux Superior. Sorry,
Superior.
yeah, okay,
Superior.
reserve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reserved.
it's a good
we
stuff.
Won't be reserved. That's the thing.
Chris, tell us a little bit about you. Tell me your story.
Well, I was 16 when I started in a veg prep kitchen. Obviously, a friend of a friend knew someone that was stuck that needed help during the summer. So from that age on, kind of, I've been in and around kitchens.
Yes.
Obviously, during the winter months, the prep area would go slack because obviously it went quieter. And then I moved up into the kitchen as a KP.
Whoa. But
So-
that here in Dublin.
in Bray.
In Bray.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. And which restaurant were...
It was actually the Esplanade Hotel,
Oh,
which is still there today, but I don't think it's
they
operational.
rename now.
Yeah.
No, oh, there's... The building still is not...
The
yeah.
building's still there.
It's still there, yes. And then you become a KP.
Yeah.
Whoa. And how that
Yeah.
went?
I loved it. I loved working in kitchens, so I suppose then from the KP, I stayed there. Then I got trained up by a chef called Derek Cooling to doing veg prep, making desserts. Derek was previously the head pastry chef in Lacrovan.
Ooh.
Oh, so after, I think by the time I was 18, I think I probably had about 5 teeth left from eating the desserts. Oh, they were just delicious.
And from there, where you went?
Well, I went to College Brew Street when I finished school on
Yeah.
CERT, a
Yeah.
2-year program. I've also done sugar work in DIT chemistry.
Oh, nice.
I also have 2 years finance and accounts degree done in DBS. So I've been to a few places. You know, I've done me training. I think of 42 years of age to 16.
42. I
Yeah.
thought it was 26, 17
Yeah,
years
yeah,
experience, yeah? It's like me, 26.
Yeah, we're 26.
Yeah, for a long run already.
Yeah. We do get a good run at it.
And like, you went from Bray, and then where you went after Bray? Like you start there, start to build up your experience, and then what was the next for you there? How like was natural or something you want to do, or just start to happen and you just following?
Well, you see, there was one time I was helping a photographer who lived up the road, 2 doors up the road. And
Yeah.
I must have been probably about 6 or 7. And he says to me, Chris, what are you going to be when you're older? And I says, a chef. And I thought nothing more of it, nothing until probably I was in my 30s, late 30s. And I said, I remember saying that I was going to be a chef. And now, what am I? Like, you forget these things, because it's been a long time, and these things have a way of coming back and going, oh God, I realise I said that. So, would I change anything? Probably not.
And then like you start cooking, and then like what's the first thing you start to cook, like your first actually big job for you? Where was the turn? Because like you start something natural when you're 16 and you keep going.
Well, I think what I found was where I started working in the Esplanade at 16. By the time I was 18, I was sous chef.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So then when you're applying for other jobs and you have that sous chef experience of running kitchens in the absence of the head chef, they kind of look, you can't put a wise head on young shoulders. So you nearly weren't taken serious because you were only 18 and you had the experience. But I found that a very hard gap to bridge the fact that I was only 18 and I had all that experience. So I kind of was being brushed aside, but you know, I didn't give up. You know, I was 26 when I took my first head chef position.
Wow. And where was that?
That was up in Carlingford, a place called Ghana House.
Nice.
Which was lovely, because we grew all our own herbs and spices and things like that, because we had the facilities. It was like a little mini Ballymaloo.
Oh.
So you could go out to the back garden, pick your lemon balm, pick your chervil, pick your chives, wait till the chives bud. So you could do all that, and there was a lovely woman there. Now, she used to own it, but her son ran it. And her name, I forget her name, Joyce, I think it was. A world of knowledge. So if I wanted to know something, or she wanted something I didn't know, like champagne rhubarb was when it was in season, when it wasn't in season, because we would toffee it.
Oh, yeah,
you know
nice.
I mean? So we'd send it out nearly crystallized, things like that, and that's where I think I loved cooking.
And that was begin 2000s, correct?
2006.
Yeah, just in the middle of the, like, not middle, close to the end of the boom of the the tiger, no, Arch Tiger, Celtic Tiger. Yeah, brain, wake up. Yeah, so wasn't that boom where the knowledge people was absorbing? I was saying that with Gary in another day, because the when it came to Ireland was in the same time. You couldn't find our chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because you were product of the beginning of the Celtic Tiger. Yeah. So you evolve and grew, and then the kids kind of like disappeared. They didn't, the Irish kids, they didn't get in, and like that's something I was saying to Gary, was about like the products, the let's say affiliation to learn and show your own food was very difficult to interpret, and like the way you're saying is like what you could do and then what you're doing.
Yeah.
And did you notice, you start to notice like in some stage like you probably start to work with more foreigners in the kitchen in 2006 than actually with Irish people.
Yeah, you see
in the country not, but like,
but you see what was happening is they're building a hotel a day.
Yeah.
Back in the boom time. But they didn't have the staff to man these positions. So your kitchen porter now was your senior commis chef, because he just was watching what other people were doing. But, you know, are they professionally trained? We're probably the last breed of professionally trained chefs that will ever work in kitchens. Because nowadays, if you see the calibre of commis chefs coming in, they're not properly trained, and unfortunately, with the way places have gone, that if you take a job, you're busy to try and teach other people. It's not that easy anymore.
Yeah.
Because you could have the language barrier, or are they really interested? Because you're going to invest your time, your energy into showing people the proper way food should be done. But that's going to be a dying breed.
Oh yes.
I really think so. I think it's going to get harder.
I don't know, the kind of people you need to attract in a kitchen. I think those days would be basically like the local boys. They don't want that hard work.
No,
it's being very difficult. As I said to Gary, like always in the hard times, you create strong people. You have strong people. Strong people make good times. Good times make soft people, and soft people make hard times.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like a vicious circle.
Yeah.
I think we are going now to the good times we create. Now we are suffering.
Yeah.
And then I think that will create the next breed. And but you have a point on the case like the language barrier, etc. I remember in like begin 2010s, my kitchen I could face the back of the Tortons, and I was there. I got a coming chef, was very difficult to find. I got a coming chef to come to work for me, 2012, 13.
Yeah.
And the guy came to do the trial, and he nailed. And I said, man, he's too good to be true. And then he worked for Tortons, you know. And then I called Kevin and called there, and then he picked up the phone and said, oh, well, I have that person here, and why let him go? Like he can do everything, and like he do your prep everything. Why he want to come to work for me? You have 2 Michelin stars in the door. I don't.
Yeah.
And he came to me and said, Ricardo, he never touch any food here, and I would not let him to touch the food. So why? Because he's my KP. I said, what? He's just here, like the guy is nailing. He said, look, don't get him. He's lying to you. I said, okay. I didn't get him in the end because of the lie.
Yeah.
Because before that, I went to him and said, well, tell me, what do you do? And when I started to see, I said, why he's not giving you opportunity if you didn't know that?
Yeah.
And he kept saying, oh, no, I don't have opportunity to grow. I said,
But
knowing him.
Yeah.
But like, as you said, that time of people observing and going,
Yes.
like if that guy come to me and said, look, I'm a KP there, and I observe, but I don't have opportunity to go to the line, I would hire him.
Yeah, you
the
would've.
guy nail.
Because he's interested.
Yes.
Like,
But it's so difficult
I'll
now.
tell you, right, when I went to CERT, we had 10 classes. Okay, 10 full classes the first 3 months. The second 3 months, we had 8. By Christmas, we were down to 2.
Whoa.
So you get all these people coming into this industry that think, oh yeah, watching Gordon Ramsay do his thing on the telly, all the chefs on the telly, making it look so easy, because they're not showing the full process of how to get to there.
Yeah, TV chef.
What it takes to get that food to that point, what prep is required, and what techniques are required, and everybody thinks they can do it.
Yeah.
Right, so then they come into the college. The college starts to teach them. Then they realise, oh, this is actually very hard. And then they just drop out.
Yeah, you can hide. You need to deliver.
Yeah,
In the end of the day, you have your time to start, finish, and deliver the food. If there's no food in the end, you're out.
Yeah.
It's pressure all the time.
And then in my case, because I had 3 years experience working in kitchens, I was actually bored because I had gone through these processes. Like, we were taught how to shallow fry, deep fry, braise. These were all the cooking processes that we all had to go through.
Yeah.
And, do we actually use these techniques? No.
Those is literally half of the things come in
Yeah.
a package already.
Exactly. So this is why there's no skill left in it. And that takes all the skill out of it. Like, I like fishing.
Oh, yes.
I love working with fish. Most of my menus would be kind of seafood orientated, and because fish is just, it cooks very quick, it's easy to get out, so no one's
But it's easy to mess up if you don't know how to cook.
yes, like let's take lemons or Dover sole.
Oh, yeah.
Right, very expensive, but a fish that's beautiful, a fish that is cooked right, you just can peel it off the bone, and you have to serve it on the bone. It has to come out fully loaded.
Yeah.
Just whether grilled. I worked in a lovely Italian restaurant, and to be fair to the woman, we always had fresh fish, whether it be 3 or 4 Dover sole, whether it be 4 or 5 lobsters, and it's all cooked to order. And to see that now, you won't see it now.
It's very rare.
Very rare, but gone very expensive to buy in.
Oh, tell me.
What's monkfish sitting at now? Probably 28, 29 euros a kilo.
Yeah, correct.
That's more than a beef.
I was in
fillet.
Hull today morning.
Were you?
Yeah, I went up
lovely.
there, and like I have a friend of mine there, Jonathan, right?
Yes.
And I was there, and then I just went around, got some what I got today there, some calamari, just eating there in the front there in seafront, some oysters.
Lovely.
For the kids, were the first time, was quite funny to see that, but like the freshness and like the price, I went there, something's wrong here. What's that? I think you had as for zero.
A bar of gold you're buying.
Yes.
It's just, and it's a pity because with the way things are at the moment, it's going to be unattainable for a lot of people. They just can't go out and pay 30, 40 quid for a piece of fish. But it's going to be a nice piece of fish done well. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think the direction with the animal protein in the next couple of years probably will be more change the culture Because
Yes.
before it was a big, massive steak, 10 ounces in
Yeah,
your plate, like 10 ounces or even 16 ounces, whatever, like something big.
Yeah.
Now it start to reduce. So if you see chicken breast,
Yes.
we used to get about like 4 or 5 years ago, the chicken breast used to be about 6 to 7 ounces.
Yeah.
Now it's 4 to 5.
Yeah.
And people, oh, you're still getting the same chicken breast. Yes. But nobody's telling you lose about 50 grams to keep the price. But the price of the 4 or 5 ounces now, okay, the past year, the inflation is so high now, it's 25% higher the price. It's ridiculous. But I think if you have something like that, I imagine as Japanese cuisine, their main food is not the animal protein.
Yeah.
That's just a side. That's just a extra in to bring your palate together. Not something like you're gonna feast on that and say, okay, the sides, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the way probably we will start to go.
Yeah, but even down to secondary cuts, like the brisket, the butt, the neck, like that's what's going to come around now. They're going to be the new rib, the new fillet steak, because they're cheaper.
Oh, yes.
But they're not as cheap, but they should be compared to a fillet
They're
steak.
cheaper, but you need to put a little more work in.
Yes.
But then come the paradox here we have
exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, where is the people can actually transform that piece of meat in something fantastic? Because it's easy to cook, but at the same time it's difficult to deliver what you want.
Yeah.
Like
it's the kind of cut that you cook to eat there and then. It's not a cut that you can, let's hot hole it.
Oh, you can't. You can't.
It has to be eaten.
It's a la minute.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we can talk here about sous vide. We could sous vide 20 of them, you know what I mean, and take them out.
Just finish off, bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, some of the things that I've seen over the years in the industry is I've seen people sous vide top rib.
Okay.
For 24 hours.
Yeah. How many degrees?
63, I think.
63. Okay. All right. So and then just finish off.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably could beefy ribs or pork ribs.
No, top rib.
A top rib. Okay. Yes.
Top rib.
Yeah, could work. Could work. Like I think technique is something very important. I truly believe in technique.
Yeah.
I remember I wanted to do here a couple of years ago. I got what I got was brisket.
Yes.
But I didn't have the time because I was working so much. I didn't have the time to start to cook or a hot box to leave there for 80 degrees for 48 hours. So I sous vide I vacuum pack sous vide here at home for 72 hours.
Yeah.
48 degrees. After that, I opened a package, used the liquid to make a sauce, and I got the brisket and put in the grill in the hot fire. Just give it that nice color. And the sauce just finish off. I swear to God, the brisket was like candy floss.
Yeah.
You put in your mouth and disappear.
Yeah.
I believe technique is something very important. Like when people say what's the difference between a fine dine and McDonald's, I would say they're the same.
Yeah.
The difference is McDonald's is so consistent, become boring. But the technique they use there, you can go to anywhere in the world and ask for a Big Mac, it will be exactly the same. And the consistency is what we achieve or we look for when we are chefs in the fine dine. You want a consistency. But at the same time, you need to create more often. So the technique. Yeah. That's the difference.
But then as well, people need to understand what they're working with. And I think 90% of the time, they don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd know the cuts, I'd know the cuts. But would someone else coming in, would they understand that cut of meat? And would they know how to work with it?
Oh, yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah.
Those days, even the kids here in the neighborhood, like they don't eat the vegetables.
Yeah.
I remember, before we got our allotment, we used to plant in the garden,
Mm.
and we plant baby carrots. And then we harvest some, was summertime about this time of the year. We wash some, still with the stem. And the kids look, I said, oh, my kids, and said, can I have? I just wash, brush it off. I said, here. And they start to eat, and I went to the street. Come back after 2-3 minutes with another like 5 or 6 kids. We want. And then I said, okay, here. Start to give carrots to all the kids. And then another 5 minutes later, I see the parents taking pictures like monkeys in the zoo.
Yeah.
Look, they're eating vegetables, taking pictures. And then come to the part, like even the joke in the kitchen. Go and find for salmon legs.
Yeah.
Like, and people, oh yeah, I'm gonna look for salmon legs. They're like, what?
Yes.
That
yeah.
did not exist.
But then, as you said, back to technique. I was at a wedding in a lovely 4-star hotel, and the side veg was baby carrots.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't even peeled.
Oh my god.
Like, you know.
No, it was brush at least or anything. It was
nothing.
just like
No, which normally the way I would do them is throw them into a pot and boil water.
was baby carrot.
Yeah, baby carrots, right?
All right.
A little bit of salt in the water. Take them out into a ice bath.
Yeah.
Let them cool. Get my tea towel and just rub the skin off.
Yeah.
Quickest way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're ready. But not even peeled. I was like, oh my god! And lovely hotel, but you know, there we're back to technique again. There we're back to properly being trained. It's not happening.
Oh my god. And like going back a little, like as I know you love fishing. You
Yeah.
have your boat. You
Yeah.
go to the sea to fish your own fish. Where starts that passion with fish?
Well, you see, I'm originally from Bray, so
Yeah.
we had the harbour, we
Yeah.
had the pier as well. Obviously now they've done all the coastal erosion program, so that's the pier isn't there. I think we used to go down with hand lines
Yeah.
and we'd just fish. And then I remember one of my uncles from Dublin coming out to Greystones, and him catching lovely big plaice, and he would catch 4 or 5 of them. You know what I mean? And we watching them sitting there, because obviously we didn't fish, we were too young at that time.
Yeah.
And he was fishing right over the wall, which Greystones used to be great for fishing, the likes of plaice and things like that. Not so good now. No harbours are good for fishing anymore, because there's seals in every one of them. And
Oh yeah, the seals. The tourists
yeah.
fed them, so
Feed
now
them.
they feed whatever they
Yeah.
find.
And if you go to Cloggerhead Harbour, there's a family of seals there, because the fishermen come in with the boats, debone all them, what
And
you
just-
call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they might come in, an oil leak on the prawns, they have to chuck them back in, because they can't be sold. And
Yeah.
the main thing that's caught around Cloggerhead would be the likes of monkfish and things
Yeah.
like that, because it's sandy all up that coastline, so it's very it's shellfish. You get a lot of shellfish there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what. Then when you come down past kind of Hout, it's kind of rocky. You get the kind of different types of species of fish. Probably the best fish I ever caught was, I was sitting on Greystones outside the Latouche Hotel. I
Yeah.
was sitting there fishing, and I was just away with myself for a while, just chilling, and then the rod just went boom, boom, and I was that excited about this fish. I had to give it to one of my friends to reel it in.
Really?
Yeah, I was overwhelmed. I was like, I can't believe it, and he reeled it in, and it was a sea bass, and he was about that size. Now, to be fair, his head was bigger.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
head, this big massive mouth, because certain times of the year they come in and they crack the mussels
Yeah.
off the rocks, so that's why you get them close in.
I didn't know Sibaz eating the mussels.
Yeah,
Whoa.
so it's like we were fishing off Wicklow. We took a charter, and we were all just dipping and jigging,
Yeah.
right? And my friend had I had the trace out mackerel head on it, and 5 minutes later he's pulling in a taupe, a massive taupe. I've fished in, let me see, I fished in South Africa, I fished in LA, I fished in Lanzarote,
Oh,
I-
see.
all sea,
Yeah.
and I fished down Connemara. And probably the best place I fished was Connemara.
We need to go there.
Yeah, so you don't have to go to all these exotic places, yeah,
Yeah.
to catch good fish. Like we were catching nice 2-foot pollock,
Yeah.
and I have a rule: if it's not over a certain size, she goes back in, because I'm not one of these people that this little fish about this size comes out. There's no right to take that fish, because what's it going to feed? I like to eat fish.
Yeah.
But I'm the only one in my house that would eat it.
Yeah.
So I end up, the last time when I caught a load of fish down Connemara, I ended up using them in the restaurant.
Wow.
Because, and all I did was just clean them out, full body, score them,
Yeah.
take the head off, and just serve them whole.
Oh, yummy.
Because they're fresh. Like, you don't need to do too much with them. Like, it's all about their natural flavours. And I always find when you get fish in, the deeper water a fish swims, the more meatier it becomes.
Say again?
If the fish swims at
deeper
fish
yeah.
are more meatier.
All right.
So you look at halibut,
Yes.
right, compared to plaice.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The difference, is totally different fish.
It's totally different.
Yeah, flavor profile.
Exactly. The whole protein structure is so different, but they're the exact same flat fish.
Yeah.
If one swims at 50 meters and one swims at 20 meters, regardless of each size, the plaice is more delicate.
Yes.
And the texture is not as hard, or
yes,
it's tender. It's not as meaty.
I remember one of the no, I don't remember the name of the fish. Of course, I will not remember now. There's a fish I use for events, like people like more meaty food, more meaty.
Probably barramundi.
No, I used to get from Mediterranean, South Mediterranean. I forgot the name of the fish, but like when you eat, it's like you're eating meat. It's very not heavy, but like it's meaty.
Yeah.
And it's dense, and it's a deep water fish.
Yeah.
No.
But see,
find the name now.
Yeah, but see, that's what people don't realize. You know, the different levels of understanding of, you know.
Yes.
And we're back to technique.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? So if you know that you get a halibut in, he's going to be harder to work on.
Yes.
Where if you get a plaice in, he's more delicate to work on. You don't have to go butchering it.
Like now you're saying all that about like lack of technique now is being difficult to come down, like with better chefs. And if you want to serve fish those days, what kind of fish you would recommend to use today, let's say, with a low skill chefs? Because as you said, if you get a plaice or you get like a
turbot.
Yeah, turbot.
Yeah, turbo.
Sorry my pronunciation. Yeah, run. Yeah, turbot. If you don't know how to cook, you're gonna destroy the fish. It's a delicate fish.
Yeah.
Like, what you would do in your menus to get something like, let's say, fucked up free?
Right. Well, you want to leave the skin on.
Yes.
Okay, and you want good char on that skin. Okay.
And why would you keep the skin on? Let's say for people who don't understand why.
Because if you slightly overcook it, the skin will hold it.
Hold the fish.
Hold the fish together.
Yeah.
Where if you took the skin off and you overcook it and you try and lift it, it
would just flake.
Yeah, and then you can't serve it.
Yes.
So to have a little bit of skin on it will just help it to stay together. I don't see it. And it's just a presentation piece as well, just to leave the skin on. I feel anyway, as long as it's descaled.
Yes.
I remember first tasting descaled skin.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember where I was working. Was it the IMI in Sandyford? And the chef had the descaling the salmon.
Yeah.
And he says to me, now I must have been about 20 at this stage. And he says, have a taste of this. So he gets it, he fries it, and I had a taste of it. And it didn't taste like fish.
Yeah.
Because when you descale it, you're taking all that kind of scaly, fishy flavour out of it. So it's not wrong.
And salmon is slightly sweet.
Yes.
I like a lot of I love Japanese cuisine, and something they do is the salmon skin.
Yes.
Basically, like now we start to come the sushis to our, now the past 10-15 years we start to have more sushi places, but when the Brazilians came over, they start to bring the
Barbecue, wasn't it? Brazilian barbecue.
yeah, and but like they brought the sushi as well, because
Right.
it's like the second place. If you want to find more Japanese out of Japan, you go to Brazil,
Right.
and specifically Sao Paulo.
Right.
You have over 22 million people there, like descendants of Japanese. In Sao Paulo, there's an area called Liberties.
Right.
It's over 1 million people lives there. All the signs on the street when you drive around is in Japanese and Portuguese. The signs, the lamps on the streets are all the, you know, the Chinese lamps, as we call here Chinese lamps. So in Brazil, you call Japanese lamps.
Yes.
When you see somebody like Asian looking person in anywhere, you say, oh, look, a Japanese. Here you say, oh, look, Asian or something like that. But in Brazil, it's like Japanese. And like they do use a lot. So you do the tare, you know, like the sweet soy sauce, and then you just brush over the skin, and you cook that, and you put in your how's it called now? The rice with the seaweed around would be your nigiri.
Yeah, sushi rice.
Yeah, sushi rice, but you make the nigiri, you know, like the round one with just above. You have normally your salmon, but you put your skin. Oh, Chris, start salivating just to think about it. The umami on that, and that very gentle flavor of fish is something very delicate.
Yes.
And like I think people do underestimate the qualities of a fish. Like sometimes the skin they beat it. Like the way I see is like when you get a fish, you have your meat, goes as without saying. You have your bones. You have depend the size of the fish and the kind of fish. You have the cheeks of the fish. You have your skin and the guts. You can use as well, depending on the kind of fish, of course.
Yes.
So you can make at least 5 dishes out of one fish. And then like those days, that's the part where are the techniques, how we can bring that technique back to the new generation coming in the kitchen. How are you dealing with that? Because for you, it's a difficult part.
I think, you know, you got to see passion down in people. If you don't see passion, they won't want technique. You know, I just find there's not enough young people coming into our industry, and I think when we got rid of cert, when we had the crash in 2008, I think that affected, you know, this society. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I done cert, but cert can be also a stepping stone for someone who maybe isn't the brightest person, but actually they can go in here, learn how to cook. It's a hands-on job. Yeah, there is some technique mentally that you have to kind of keep saying to yourself, your timing, you know, when not to do something and when it's cooked, you know, but like I find now they aren't there. There's no next generation coming through as there is, but they're viewers.
How you think would attract more? Being a cook is not easy.
No.
It is the opposite of easy.
Yeah.
And people those days, they just want to ease life. You know, they're like after the pandemic now, it starts to grow more the no work. How they call that? I just listened a couple of days ago in a podcast. Was no work movement.
Yeah.
People just don't want to work.
Yeah.
But you have other people coming around now. How you attract the right talent and bring the right talent. I understand now, like the necessity make people go to the kitchen. Come for passion is very difficult. You see, at least I can notice that, probably you do the same. The kind of there is a certain pattern in the chefs. You need not be right in your mind.
No.
Normally your creative minds normally to come to the kitchen. How we attract those people, the right people to come to the kitchen. Do you, if you knew, probably you would have the kitchen full of people. But do you have an idea what would be the next step? How would you bring people in?
Well, we got to look at the social aspect of the job. And you'd know yourself from working in kitchens. You don't have a social.
What social?
Yeah.
Are we social?
Yeah. But,
we are social, but yeah, there's no social life. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I think, you know, they're talking about bringing people to a 4-day working week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make life a little bit easier.
Get it more attractive as well.
Yeah, more attractive. If we had more people in the industry that could allow 1 and 4 weekends off, you know what I mean? That you're not constantly working every weekend because all your friends are working on computers, they're working as a carpenter, electrician, and, you know, starting out, yeah, the money's not great for the hours that you commit.
Oh,
maybe, maybe that's something that should be looked at. Actual, like a union as such. Because if you train as an electrician, you train as a carpenter, like, they're a union, and there's a structure in place for this to happen. You know, and I don't think enough places offer that structure to trainees. If you take an 18-year-old, he loves cooking, didn't do well in his leaving cert, didn't get the points he wanted to do whatever his first choice would have been, but he still loves cooking, and he decides then maybe I'll do the cooking route. You know, so when he goes into a kitchen, there's no process for him. There's no tiers for him to work or achieve to goals.
I think majority of the people come to the kitchen, they believe, past many people through my career, probably you did the same. They said, I'm working 10 years in the kitchen, I'm ready to be a sous chef. And you look and say, you barely can cook the breakfast. You know, like, like sometimes people think, people just think like it's a time. You did your time, that means you can go to the next level. They believe it's the same for any business. I would say the same. You know, you could be a rocketing engineer for 10 years. You're designing rockets, but if you're not good,
you're not good.
You will not go up. Simple as.
Yeah.
Like now, I know is not forgiven our industry. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. To grow is very difficult. You like in the top. If you see who's in the top with the good salaries, and you look and say, "Wow, I want to be like Gordon Ramsay." Come on, if you count per country and say how many Gordon Ramsays between brackets you have in each country, let's put each country in the world has 5 Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
And then that's not true. Yeah. In average, yeah, you can go here now and start to count like level Gordon Ramsay. Yeah. Let's put 5. You have 200 odd countries in the world times 5. Done. Here you have 1,000 jobs in your around the world you can get. Of course, it's more if you go to US, Brazil, big countries. You're gonna have more. But nevertheless, my point is that is the 1%. Yeah. It's the same saying about the rich and the poor, but it is that 1% that commit to go and have that drive to go. Like something I heard from a speaker many years ago was you want to something. If you really want something, you forgot to eat. And people normally look at me and said, you're very skinny to be a chef. Probably you hear the same. Yeah, but like in the end of the day, it is like athletes. Yes. I say we are like athletes. If you're really good, you be fit. You be like, if you see the best chefs in the world those days, they're skinny as us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're mentally always thinking of the next thing. And I do have to laugh about this, Ricardo, right? My wife would, you know, when we got married, oh, what does your new husband do? Oh, he's a chef. Oh, you must get lovely dinners. You must get this and that. And I'd be like, no, she doesn't. Okay? I believe the painter down the road doesn't come home from work and start painting his house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? Now, I don't mind cooking at home, but, you know, we're so used to having the combi oven, the 6-ring burner, all the spices, all the herbs, a nice pantry, you know, with everything in it. And then all of a sudden, you go home, you're looking in the fridge, you're going, oh, damn, do I have to use that, do I? You know, and that's why when I got home, I'm like, oh, Pizza Hut. Ooh, thank you. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm doing it all day. I don't want to go home and start cooking again because I like to do it right. So that's going to take time.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the easiest thing is McDonald's, takeaway, I'm happy. You know, and people say that's wrong. But a carpenter doesn't go home and start building, you know, wooden houses.
We say in Portuguese in house of ironsmith.
Right.
The cutlery will be made of wood.
Wood.
Yes. But like now you said something interesting to ask. Normally I ask that in any interview I do, but I like that. What's comfort food for you?
Well, you see, comfort food to me is the food that I would have grown up with.
Yes.
You know, whether it be
Something will hug you when you eat.
Yeah.
What would it be for you?
Would it be sausage mash and beans? Would it be waffles, beans and eggs?
Waffles?
Yeah, like
Whoa.
really simple stuff would actually hug me, and they would have been the stuff that, you know, I remember growing up. We would have, and maybe this was what got me interested. Now, my mother wouldn't be the best cook, and I'd be the first to say it. 'Cause
Really?
years ago she'd ring me and ask me questions, like a housekeeper's cut of beef, right?
Yeah,
if you buy in
yeah.
the supermarket, you either burn the bejesus out of it,
Now you can curse and there's no problem.
or it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Right? So what I said to her is, what you do is cook it, not fully, slice it up, put it in your Pyrex dish, throw your gravy over, leave it in the oven for 20 minutes. So it's not going to be dry, it's going to be lovely and moist when you take it out. So, and now she keeps doing that. You go to my mother's for roast beef, and that's how she serves her roast beef now. And I suppose going back to that, when I was growing up, every Sunday at 6 o'clock, it had to be 6 o'clock, we were brought in and the food was full of treats. Whether it be, you know them flans you buy, the flan base, you can buy them in supermarkets and you fill them with cream, and then you can put your mandarins or your strawberries.
Yeah.
They're the soft sponge flans, right?
Yeah.
There'll be them, there'll be chocolate biscuits, there'll be the jam tarts. You couldn't have a party without a jam tart. Right? And then there'd be all Kimberley biscuits and all that. And that was every Sunday in my house. At 6 o'clock sharp. You were always there for that.
Any reason? Looking back now, like with a different perspective, why your parents used to do that, or your family in general?
Well, maybe it's a generational thing. Because I don't know what they did when they were growing up. But maybe because we're all generational.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like you do things that your parents would have done.
Yeah, like the way I see is like that. Every generation you do something to your child that you didn't have,
Yes.
or something you would like to have.
Yes.
And like when I see that, it's like a treat. Why? And in my perspective, I see what I grew up, and then I show my kids like things I didn't have much when I was a child. Okay, I have few things, like now we went to Hoth. I was looking for crab.
Right.
For a simple reason. When I was a child, my mom we used to go to the seaside from São Paulo. So São Paulo is about 800 meters above sea level. So you go down the hill, literally, and then you go to Santos. Or anywhere in the seafront. And then the way back, you have the people just literally in the motorway with broom, with like a tea, with the crabs hanging alive. They used to go to the bogs and get, like, because it's not sea crabs, it's like it's kind of a hybrid. They live in the bogs in the base, so they go there literally in the mud and start to take the crabs, and they just tie them in ropes and put in and sell alive. And going back home, my mom just wash them off and throw inside the pot, and then they are just fighting to get out of the pot with hot water. And after that, just with a little hammer, sit around the table, was a plastic match, and then you just go and eat the hell of it. I start to salivate just to think, man.
Yeah, but you see,
That's something I think about memory, to bring memory to your kids or next generation. And like sometimes that's what I say with the young chefs. When they're outside and they want to be a waiter, and said, I get the same money as the guy is cleaning the tables there, and I'm here, work my ass off for the same money, and again getting shouted at. That's not fair.
No.
And then that's the point of saying in 2 years' time, that guy is still cleaning tables and you're going to have literally, I'm paying you to get a professional or become a professional.
Yeah.
And how you attract them to learn that palette. Because those days I have people come to work for me just because of that, because it's not about the money. It's about learning, because they know outside there, people just put the apron on you and say, go.
I think now everything revolves around money. You know, even to this day, talking to some people, whether they get €1 more somewhere else, I always found training when you went to work for the likes of Marriott. I worked for Marriott in 2004 in Enfield. Lovely hotel when I was married. And you worked for the name. You could go work in your 3-star for an extra 1,500 a year, because it was a lesser star, but these companies, you work for the name.
Yes.
So I kind of find now, not everything is money, because if you train under the right people, that'll all come. You know what I mean? That'll come in spades. Like, you get the right teaching, the right, attitude from the right person. And if you don't get that, if you're in and out, I always like to spend a year in a job, just over a year, because when you finish college, you're trying to absorb as much. But I found that you want to stay in the high ends of the levels of cooking to get the little tricks of the trade. You know what I mean? From the older generation. I remember coming across a man up at Boy. He was 80 something, still working.
Whoa. As a chef?
As a chef.
God, poor man.
Yeah. And then my last head chef position, there's a man of 74, still works the carvery. Now, fair enough, he comes in at 12 and he finishes at 3. But he's earned that right. He's earned it from someone like myself who looked. I looked and went, oh my God, I'd be well retired. To still be doing it. Yeah, he's more hacking and yakking out of him to the customers, but he's still there. And that's great to see. His wife died a year before. So it's probably his little way of release, because he only does 3 hours. But to see that. You should respect that. And a lot of young people wouldn't respect that, because that's the job they want. They want to do 12 to 3. That's not going to happen, buddy. If man goes, you're working 7 to 3. You know what I mean?
And that's what you like out of the reality.
Yeah.
Out of the reality. Like those days, the chefs, they just come in, come out, and they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, to attract them and keep them is very difficult. And like that's the part I look now. And to get the chefs to build in. And I said I prefer to get nothing against anyone, but like we have like chefs, local chefs with the same mentality, but it's very rare. It's easy to get like foreigners, the way I see, because number one, they don't have family here, they don't have friends. Number two, and they don't have anything else. The only thing they know is job. And then at the end of the day, they are in a foreign country. Now is the most expensive country to live in Europe. In Europe is Ireland. So to pay your rent, to pay your bills, like with a minimum wage, is very difficult if you do 40 hours. If you want to save a little bit money, you need more than that. And then that's the moment you get people to come in and do their job. And that when I go around, I look and say, okay, who is not local? Who put the hand up? I said, you. Or even if people say, oh, okay, how many years? I normally look after that when I get juniors. How many years you live in Ireland? 2, 3. Okay, next.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like if you get someone like that, they already have a lifestyle, they have friends, they start to create, we are social beings, and the moment you start to create social interaction, you start to look and say, hell no, I'm gonna clean the tables for the same money.
Yeah. But even like that, Ricardo, when I was growing up, and my friends were going out to nightclubs in Dublin and things like that, and I'm working the weekend, it didn't really bother me.
You never thought to change?
No, because I was doing something I really, really enjoyed doing. You know, and yeah, they were off out spending money, you know what I mean, in nightclubs, and yeah, well, I was making money. Yeah, I didn't have a great social. Me going out would have been on a Sunday night, having a few pints after work, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
You well behaved.
Yeah, but I didn't think I started drinking really until I was after 21.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good.
I don't think I started smoking till I was 18.
Whoa.
Which, you know, I don't. I always think of everything. You know that
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of way. Like, I was 23 when I bought my house.
Jesus Christ.
You know.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Not drink, not smoke. Yeah, you save
You
money.
know, that's exactly what happened. You know, when the crunch came to the crunch, the money was there to put the deposit down. Where my wife said, "Oh yeah, I'll move it." She was renting in Swords, right, working in the airline industry and partying, going out, having fun as you do. But we'd made a decision that she'd move back home, and for a year, and then we should have the savings.
Yeah.
So I was the one saving, and when the crunch came to crunch, I said, "Michelle, how much have you saved?"
How much you did?
Nothing. She saved absolutely nothing. But luckily enough, we had the money there.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I suppose. And then I bought the house, and my friends are heading off to Australia. They're heading off to America, and I said to myself, "No, I'm gonna buy the house. Then I can decide if I want to travel. Because I'd have something to come back to."
Yeah.
And that was the whole point. And yeah, then obviously we end up getting married, we having kids, and then I end up going nowhere. But did I really miss out?
It's up to you to say that.
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Because
it's how you feel.
Yeah. You know, never look behind, always look forward.
Yeah.
Because what's behind you is done and dusted.
Yeah.
And you can't dwell on what happened. Oh damn, I made a mistake yesterday in the kitchen. Cost the company a couple of grand. Well, okay, it happened. But move on. It will never happen again, will it?
I remember before the 2008 crash. Majority of my friends, even chefs, they start to leave the kitchen and they work as a waiters. And I remember one of them, like we used to live all together. We used to live in Grand Canal.
Right.
You know, like
Essential.
Yeah, and a nice posh area. Brand new apartment. Nobody ever lived there. And then we rented there, like ridiculous money for 2008. It was over 2,000 euros. So yeah, it was ridiculous money, but beautiful place. My point here is, they were chefs, and they went to work as waiters, and they look at me and say, "You're stupid. Look what you're doing, working your ass off. You know, come back home." Like my knuckles were black, my fingers were black because I used to work in the grill. So every single day I had to scrub that, clean the canopies. Those days the chefs, if you say that, they will say, "Oh my God, I break my nail," and they run out, crying. So I remember doing that, and the guys come in the end of the week, whatever they used to make money as their salary, where they laugh. Because I said, "Look, what's that?" And at the end of the day, we were there sitting, having a few pints, and the guy saying, you know, like, who made more tips in the end of the night. I remember one of the guys there came and said, "I made 500 euros today." And I was sitting there, I said, "Oh my God, what I'm doing, you know." And then focus, Ricardo, focus. My focus is doing that. Okay, 500 euros was like a blue whale. A blue whale is like a white elephant, you know, something, or black swan, something do not exist. But the guys used to make like their 150 to 200 euros a day in tips. That in 2007, 2006, when the minimum wage was 6 euros something, 7 euros.
It would have been 886.
Yeah, something like that, like
yeah.
something ridiculous. And then when you put it like that, you look at he make in 6 hour shift more money he would make in a day.
Yeah.
And then if when you start to pile up the things, what the guys used to do, okay, they were great to me, like I was in the kitchen, they were in the front of house,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they knew if they talked to me, all my pints when I go out was paid for by them.
Yeah.
So okay, that's my ticket. I need that ASAP. Don't worry, I pass ahead. This kind of stuff. But like one of them, I remember, like in 6 months here, the guy saved. He was living from tips, and then just saving, he left the country with 10,000 euros.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you doing in 6 months? 10,000 euros?
Yeah.
Living in Grand Canal? Fuck off!"
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the part, like, sometimes it's difficult for us to see that. But, like, when you start to go up, like, the beginning, that's what I tell everyone. And the beginning for us is flat. And then when you go up, you go up.
Yeah.
Or you just keep going slow, and make like a belly and you fall, and then it become a flat line. But it's very difficult to keep in the industry in those days.
Yeah. Do you agree chefs should be given a percentage of tips?
Yes.
I kind of was getting tips in my last job.
Yeah.
Do I agree with it? Me? No, I don't agree with it.
Why?
And I'll tell you why. Well, if you take your junior staff, the likes of your commie chefs and that, right? They're not being paid a lot of money, okay? So if you give them the tips, once you hit the salary level, of sous chef, head chef, right? I don't think they should be getting tips.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Right.
Senior you get, less you get.
Yeah. So then the likes of the KPs, which I think is the most important job in any place,
should get the most.
Should get the most.
Footnote here. Everywhere I worked, everywhere, no exception, never got tips.
I did.
I never got.
Yeah. The first head chef position I took, I got tips. So it was like a monthly thing.
Yeah.
In Ghana House, we'd have our restaurant. We'd run a 5-course menu, and then if we had nobody booked, we'd close. But we'd also do weddings. We'd do corporate events. We'd actually do cookery school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's.
Did you used to teach there? Or,
yes.
Yeah.
I used to do bread course.
Bread course.
Yeah.
Whoa! You still make bread at home? No.
No. It's like anything. Once you deal with fresh yeast,
yes,
you have to be careful, because fresh yeast the longer you have it, the less effective it is.
More flavor, less effect. Yes, I understand.
So we what we would do in a corporate event like that is we give them the bread class in the morning, right?
That's smart.
And what we do is whatever breads they make, they'd eat for their dinner that evening.
Nice.
So we get them to ball out their dough, obviously prove it, and then the fun part is messing with it, right? So we get them all to ball it out, or whatever they want to do, an old loop-de-loop, an old plat.
Yeah.
Then we take it in to the kitchen and we cook it. We design the menu for what we were teaching, so whatever they interacted with would be on the menu. So
that's a clever menu idea.
That kept them. Oh, this is the bread I made. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was good.
If it's bad, it's on you, not on us.
Yeah. So well, I think that talking to customers and being able to have some rapport with people that come into dine is very important. Like if they want to ask you questions, don't get me wrong. If someone wants to complain, I take it constructively.
Yes.
I would not dismiss it. I only take a complaint if there's 3 of the same complaint.
I see.
Do you understand me? So if something wasn't right and it was said 3 times, well then that causes me concern. Because, perception is a big word I love to use in cooking.